I am intentional. I am intentional. Yes, I'm invincible. I am intentional. I am intentional. I am intentional. I am the one.
Hola. I hope everybody's doing well. I just want to go over the Leo season with you guys. And then I also want to go over the planetary forecast. The planets have a lot going on. We got a few planets that got a lot going on. I'm going to get y'all up to speed and everything. So first I want to start with the Kabbalah. Because, I touch a little bit of everything. I touch the Kabbalah, the Bible, paganism, Nordic, Druid, Santeria. I touch Ifa. I touch a little bit of everything. So, starting with the Kabbalah. Boom. Av is the other word for Leo. And this is one of the 3 most negative months of the year. The other 2 are Capricorn because it's ruled by Saturn, which is all about restrictions and restraints and challenges. And and Cancer because it's ruled by the moon, which is like a whole bunch of emotions and confliction and things like that. So, the sign of Leo is ruled by the sun and is the left column of the fire signs. This indicates an added influence of fire, which is expressed as judgments, burning and consuming fire with no balance. This is the reason we experience a polarity of events, some negative and some positive during the season. The book of formation says the letter Tet, which is spelled T-E-T, created Leo, and the letter Kaf created the sun. So together we get the energetic combination of that controls the month of Leo. At the center of our solar system, the sun brings each planet's light, heat, and life, without which organic life cannot exist. People born in this month are famous or infamous for behaving as if they're the sun. Their trademarks are leadership, determination, domination, and power, and in full force. This combination can lead to the pitfalls of ego and pride. Leos easily fall into perceiving that they are king. The only control we have is self-control. Any feelings of ego, pride, and superiority can only prevent us from helping others, and that can never be good. The month of Av, Leo, is known for the massive occurrences of negativity that have been transpired throughout history during this time. The Spanish Inquisition, the signing of Hitler's final solution, the destruction of both holy temples in Jerusalem, they all took place during Leo season. So, the number 9, represented by the letter Tet, which we said was the letter of Leo, it connects us to the Sapphire Yesod, which manifests all the energy that is gathered from the upper luminous emanations. I had someone do like that tree of life reading for me, and they told me that my energy was Yesod. They told me the path and everything. I have it written down somewhere. I have to tap back into that. Jerusalem was and remains the energy of the world. When the people of Israel and the residents of Jerusalem specifically choose not to behave with human dignity towards one another, this energy was created. It had to manifest itself and did so in an explosion of negativity on the 9th day of Leo and a deadly short circuit. That's deep. Okay, so the 9th day of Leo is a fasting day, not because the 2 temples were destroyed, but it is a day that lends itself to calamity. So if Leo season started on the 22nd, that means the 9th day is what? The 31st? Are there 31 days in July? So that would be like a fasting day. So yeah. When there is no unity, no minimum of human dignity between people, this negative energy is accumulated and culminates on the 9th of Leo. What is the solution? A change of consciousness and behavior. It is very easy to point fingers and blame others, but it is harder to transform oneself and change one's attitude. Be patient, forgiving, and loving. If each of us could perceive ourselves as though we are ticking time bombs and any self-serving action would trigger the fuse, we would be more careful with our actions and words. The 9th day of Av, Leo, is the day of destruction, but at the same time, it is the birth of the Messiah. Where there is greater darkness, therein also lies the biggest potential to reveal tremendous light, but it all depends on our actions. So that's it in the Kabbalah. Since the 5th day of Leo is the death anniversary of Rav Isaac Luria. He chose to leave the world on the 5th day, which represents the luminous emanation of Hod. The 15th day of Leo is the happiest day of the year. On this day, both the sun and moon are in full. Their sun, the positive people, represents the male aspect of our universe. The moon, the negative people, represent the female aspect of the universe. When the moon reflects the light of the sun, we receive the power to return light, the strength to give, to care, and to love unconditionally. This is why our sages stated that there is no happier day in the year, and this rare cosmic opportunity allows us to find our soulmate. The same way the sun and moon are in harmony on this day, so too can we draw from this partnership in our lives. That's cool. So when's the 15th day? So, hold up. Yeah, there are 31 days in July. So, the 31st of July is the day of fasting, and that's the 9th day. So then plus 6 is what? The 6th of July? The 6th, no, 6th of August. The 6th of August is supposed to be the happiest day of the year. Okay. And that's the 15th. And that's it from the Kabbalah sense. Interesting. So, moving on. Leo season is from July 22nd to August 23rd. We know it's a fire sign, so it being a fire sign is strong energy, basic instincts, quick temper, also quick to cool. This sign rules the 5th ruling house, which governs over self-expression, drama, creativity, color, attention, romance, fun, and play. It is a masculine energy. It is associated with the sun and Sunday. And Sunday is the day of success, healing, protection, and energy. The metal during this time is brass and gold. And if anybody's interested in gold, hit me up. But brass, okay. So I read a lot of books, and then I take notes of the books I read. So these are all my notes of all the books I read. So brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. So if anybody's been in tune with the news, y'all know what's going on with zinc right now in the news. I don't have to put the words together for y'all. It holds the characteristics of these two metals to benefit the wearer. Brass jewelry helps the skin to absorb natural metals beneficial to the skin and helps with melanin production in the skin. So brass is the metal for this season, and so is gold. Let's go to gold. Gold helps with depression, fear of death, or desire to commit suicide. It also helps to give self-confidence and protection against destructive influences. In addition, gold also helps give one a meaning to life. It enables realization of good deeds and projects, and it represents generosity. Physically, gold promotes distribution and circulation of energy and vitality in the body. It helps with issues and diseases of the reproductive system, and it also supports gland functioning and assists in healing damage to bones and tissue. It also helps regulate nervous system impulses. So that's gold, brass and gold for this season. Okay. The stones for this season are carnelian, which is a great energy booster. It's good for self-confidence, motivation, root chakra type energy. Citron, which is a good merchant stone, is good for wealth, as well as energy and giving you like a can-do kind of attitude towards things. Tiger's eye is good for insight. It's also good for, that's what I have on now, tiger's eye. I have that in my book too. Yes, it's good for insight, luck, protection from the evil eye. It also brings clear thinking and helps one with focus and feeling oneness with their thoughts. Onyx, which is a great protection stone. Black tourmaline, which is a great protection stone. So when you go into your stones, you want to go towards the frequency of yellows, oranges, the bright reds, black for protection, gold, things like that. So yeah. The lion is associated with Leo season. That's the sign, which is a sign of courage, leadership, and rulership. It is a fixed sign, which is means consistent, reliable, but also stubborn, but also determined to get things done. Kind of stays on the path. During the season, you will feel the need to express yourself, to go outward, to be creative, indulge, try not to overindulge, take initiative. You may also feel feelings of, the number the number that's associated with Leo season is the number 1, which is associated with solitude, permanence, unity, roots, beginning, ambition, expression, and leadership. Yellow is the color associated with the season. This is the color of optimism, success, satisfaction, generosity, and order. Orange is also associated with this season. That is the color of vitality, ambition, fertility, creativity, stress reduction, and it also dissolves blockages. Purple is also a good color associated with this season. That's the color of justice and judgment, royalty, age, wisdom, spirituality, insight, and devotion. And so that's what I have as far as my notes for Leo season. And now I'm going to get into Metu Netter. So as you guys know, hey, how you doing? Thank you. I appreciate you too. So as you guys know, I read Metu Netter, and I refer to that every zodiac season. So we're going to get into what the spiritual direction is for the season and what the Netter is for the season as well. Hold on a second. I lost my page, so bear with me, guys. Okay, so the committed netter for this season is Heru. And Canaanite is Michael. And Yoruba is Shango. This deals with the 6th sphere. And when we're dealing with the 6th sphere, we are dealing with creation. We are dealing with a couple of things. This is me going through my notes. Bear with me. So when you deal with the 6th sphere manifestation, you're dealing with the netter becoming aware that a balance or a oneness must exist between the 4th manifestation and the 5th. The 4th being never turn attention to things that are to be made. One realizes that all things are modifications of one being. And the 5th stage of manifestation is in order to live, the one being must be broken into myriads of beings. So there's one and small and reverse. I haven't been listening to the netter. Yeah, copy. Yeah, if you want, they have a free copy. They have a free PDF copy online. That's how I was reading it initially when I first got it. And but then eventually I just went and got the book. Me and my son, I want to say not last summer, probably the summer before last, we actually read Metu Netter online on YouTube. We have it on our YouTube page if you want to tune in. So basically with the 6th station manifestation is becoming aware that a balance or a oneness must exist between the 4th, which deals with everything being one, and the 5th, which deals with everything being parts. It realizes that in order to live safely and effectively, one must be in the world and not of it. And this is the foundation of law equilibrium. So we're dealing with the 6th stage of life. This is coming to, thought process that we are one, which I said earlier, number 1 is the number associated with Leo season, which is the number of oneness. So we're dealing with that. The planet sun, as I said before, the day is Sunday. The colors during this season, according to the netters, are red and white. Red being the color of passion, energy, sensuality, attractiveness, attention, and white being the color of purity, innocence, moving on, forgiveness. And in some cultures, it's actually the color of death. And gems during the season are the ruby and the garnet. I have jewelry with garnet in it as well, which is a good passion stone. That's also a good stone for the Pluto retrograde that is occurring right now, because that's a stone for Pluto as well and Scorpio energy. So yeah, as far as herbalism goes, for baths, poplar leaves, coxcomb, geranium, bay leaves, and Vencedor. Those are things that you want to have in your bath during this season. As far as oils go, you want geranium oil, incense, frankincense. That's the herbs for the season. The spiritual direction during the season is west. The mundane direction is northeast. As far as the personality portfolio goes, through its action on the kabit, which is the animal spirit, your lower being, and the hot and dry energy of the sun has the following effects on the personality. Emotional traits are desire of power and leadership, vitality, being strong-willed, might feel zealous, noble, lofty, proud, authoritative, humane, reserved, up above using underhanded means in the struggle against opponents. Some negative traits you'll feel: arrogant, extravagant, indecisive, overbearing, dictatorial, excessive pride, devitalized, which means weak-willed, tyrannical, boastful yet empty, and also egotistical. Mental traits during this time, you'll be focused on the will and insight. Social correspondences, careers and functions that are like on the spotlight during this time. People in authoritative positions such as father, mother, whoever's in the household, prince, leaders, lieutenants, mayors, governors, bosses, supervisors, self-employments if you're your own boss. As far as the spiritual portfolio goes, the will, the determinant of character, crossroads. So you'll be dealing with transitions, changes, and transcending during this time. The will is the essence of our divinity. In the same manner that we help children develop by allowing them freedom to act within a circle of limitations, the Supreme Being develops man's divinity by allowing him to a certain amount of freedom within a ring pass not. The circle that man cannot pass corresponds to secular structural lines that keep the world and its events in place. Once outside of these, man has the freedom to choose what he wills. But as we have seen, success depends on law and order. As Tahuti and Mayat corresponds to the communication of the divine law to our mind and not its imposition, we have the freedom to follow or ignore it. This freedom of the will to follow or ignore divine law is the basis of our divinity. There is no divinity where there is compulsion. We saw in past chapters that Men-Ob system of meditation is the means of liberating and perfecting the use of the will. On our perfection of the system depends the upliftment of our character and our spiritual growth. The only time that spiritual growth and the transcending of our conditionings take place is when we live truth of our free will in crossroad situations. These situations are characterized by 1, the appearance that we will lose a great deal, real, imagined, or perceived, which will be opposed to 2, the truth which must be followed, and 3, the intuition of clever and seemingly convincing rationalizations for not following the truth. So yeah, special correlates, Haru and Alsar, which is there is no act of will unless we are effectively identifying ourselves with the indwelling intelligence as opposed to our persons. That's the one I like. So, key phrases: the effort, urge to rise to prominence, to be independent, the urge to freedom, by being self-reliant, confident, hoping to be compelled to do right, ignorance of the will's freedom from emotional compulsion, and dependence on wisdom. So a lot of you guys might feel like, I guess, inspired to take initiative, to take a leadership role, things like that. Hey, how you doing? And so yes, do it, because that's what Leo season is bringing us to. And that's Leo season is in a nutshell, covering all those things. Now I just want to get into what the planets are doing, what houses they're doing it in, who's going in retrograde. I know what the planets are doing up until like 2026, but like it's a lot of stuff going on, and it's cool. So yeah, I'm gonna get into what the planets are doing. We'll start off with Mercury. So Mercury rules our decision-making skills, our thinking, how we teach, how we learn, how we communicate with one another, okay? So Mercury has been in Cancer in the 11th house. It has been here since June 18th. It's been in the 11th house since June 18th. It will go into the 12th house on August 4th, and then enter into Leo August 5th. So it'll be in Cancer in 11th and the 12th house starting the 4th. So with it starting off in 11th house, we know that the 11th house deals with like your humanitarian spirit. It deals with like your position in society, how you look at yourself. And we know that Cancer is all about intuition, insight, going inward, your family, your maternal energy, all that moon energy and things like that. So we've been kind of going inward into our homes, into our families, with how we're teaching and how we're learning about our intuitive spirit. About, we're rearranging our households, like the different tasks. I know a lot of you guys are, brought up the conversation of moving off grid. Well, that would change what you guys do in your households. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you guys are talking about homeschooling your kids this year. That would change a lot in your households. A lot of you guys are talking about being your own business, or bringing in more businesses, or interconnecting your businesses with other businesses. All of that kind of changes what's going on in your household. So a lot of people are going inward. You're going in your house, you're going in yourself, and things like that. And you're applying, your position in society, your humanitarian spirit. So then once you go from the 11th house to the 12th house, which is happening on August 4th, you're going to start focusing on like your intuitive spirit. You're going to start looking at different karmic positions, different karmic relationships that you have, because as you've been going in planning, well, now it's time to start pruning so you can make room. Like, what do we do when we're cleaning up our room? We take everything out and then we put it back. So everything is going to get pulled out. We're pulling things out. We're pulling secrets out. We're pulling out, things that no longer serve us. And that's happening. And then the very next day, like, you're going to spend a day on this. Because the very next day, you're going to go outward. Mercury goes into Leo. Mercury goes into Leo season, and we're still in the 12th house. So we're still dealing with our karmic relationships. We're still dealing with that intuitive spirit. We're still dealing with what other things are we dealing with? Your psychic energy, your dreams, your secrets, your emotions. But now we're dealing it with that extroverted Leo energy. We're coming out with it now. We're letting people know what's going on with us. We're putting our hearts on our sleeves. We're communicating those things with people. We're teaching and we're learning. People are going to start coming up more outward starting August 5th. And that's going to be going on until August 17th. So from August 5th to August 17th, Mercury will be in Leo in the 12th house. And then on August 18th, we move from there to Leo in the 1st house. And now the 1st house deals with like your overall temperament. It's like your physical appearance, how you carry yourself, your ego, things like that. So we're coming extroverted. So you done prepared yourself in the house. You prepared yourself in your house. You're coming out a little bit, you're doing some pruning, and now we really out here, because now we have Leo in our 1st house. We got those 2 fire energies coming up, because we know the 1st house is associated with Aries energy, which is the 1st season of the year. So we have these 2 fire energies like coming together, and so expect everybody, it's going to be some cookouts from the 18th to the 20th of August, okay? So, and then we go into Virgo. Whoop, whoop. Mercury going into Virgo. Mercury rules Virgo, so that's like a beautiful double energy right there. Mercury going into Virgo, into the 1st house. So now we're starting to organize our appearance. We're starting to be more analytical of our egos and our energies, and the egos and the energies of those around us, okay? So very excited for what Mercury is doing for us. You see, Mercury is going to be all over the place in this short period of time. So it's a lot to, keep in perspective. But by the time Leo season ends and Virgo season begins, you're gonna be just analyzing things around you, especially because like Mercury will be in Virgo in the 1st house when the sun first goes into Virgo, and I believe the moon will be in Virgo also. So that's something dope that's gonna happen. So yeah, moving on. Venus has been in Gemini in the 10th house since June 26th, okay? So it being in Gemini in the 10th house, I know you guys have been like doing like multiple sources of income, people taking on multiple businesses, multiple education ventures, just multiple ways to achieve finances. A lot of you guys have been having multiple love interests, maybe having multiple friends, starting to chill with more people at a time now, meeting new people, creating new partnerships and things like that. That's what Venus controls, our love and our finances. And you know, Gemini is all about diversity, flexibility, just multiple streams. So, and 10th house is your midheaven house. So that's how you've been reaching success in these areas in your love and your finances, is utilizing this Gemini energy. And I've seen it all around. I love it. Keep it going. So, Gemini, Venus will enter the 11th house starting August 2nd. So the 11th house, again, we deals with the humanitarian spirit. We're dealing with your place in society and things like that. So, you know, we've taken all in the multiple streams of income, you know, the multiple relationships, So now when we move into the 11th house, now we're like, all right, so how do we apply this to society? How do we move this into a place where we're giving to others and we're showing a humanitarian spirit? And we'll be, you know, getting into that mindset from the 2nd to the 7th. And then when Venus goes into Cancer in the 11th house, that'll be happening September 4th. Oh, no. It goes into Cancer August 7th until September 4th. My bad. I misread. But with Venus in Cancer, you're going to start going inward. So you done gathered a whole bunch of stuff. Again, we're going through the process of pruning, because now you want to see, like, you know, where is this going? What do all these things fit in? Some of these projects that you started, some of these businesses that you started when you were gathering multiple streams of, you know, income, when you were gathering multiple streams of knowledge and education, a lot of those things you're not going to keep with you in the month of August. By the time September comes, a few things that you were holding on to, you will no longer think or put energy towards or anything like that. And that's okay. Just be ready for the change, because when you go into Cancer season now, when Venus goes into Cancer zodiac, that's when we start going inward and getting into our intuitive spirit, getting into our insight, and really calculating and being observant of what's going on. And that starts September. Yeah. So, moving on, Mars. Mars is in Aries in the 8th house. So the 8th house is, I believe that's Scorpio energy. It is. And that deals with sex, death, children, rebirth, transformations, power, and secrets. And then when houses are transiting in this area, it helps us understand the core of any situation, and it serves as a reminder of life's complexities. So you have this fire energy inside this Scorpio energy of rebirth. And we know Mars is a fire planet. Mars is actually Aries planet. And it has been in this space since June 28th. Okay. And we see that, right? There has been a lot of energy going into transforming how we move and how we interact, and the laws, and how we educate, how we learn, and things like that. A lot of transformation has been going into how we spend our energy on a regular basis. We're doing things that we weren't doing 3 or 4 months ago. We're putting our energy towards different things, and it's passionate energy that we're putting into this. Passionate energy that we weren't putting into this like 3 or 4 months ago. So we do see a transformation in that Mars energy. And then Mars moves into the 9th house. Tomorrow's the 29th. So Mars moves into the 9th house, and the 9th house is the house that rules over travel, philosophy, and higher education. Planets transiting through this house help us to begin studying a new topic, move to a foreign location, or adopt a different perspective. This is associated with the Sagittarius energy. So we'll have our energy, once it moves in, the energy of Mars with Aries moving into the 9th house. So now it's going towards us gaining new perspectives on things. So we've been rebirthing and transforming ourselves and dealing with mental, spiritual, physical, governmental, financial death. And now we're going into, this transformation and applying it to our interactions with one another, how we educate ourselves, etc., etc. So Jupiter is in Capricorn. Jupiter has been in Capricorn since December 2nd, 2019, and it will remain in Capricorn until December 18th, 2020. So it stays in Capricorn. Jupiter moves, so it takes about a year for Jupiter to move to a new zodiac energy, basically, essentially, in a nutshell. Jupiter has been in retrograde since May 14th and will stay in retrograde until September 12th. So, and it's also in the 5th house, which deals with your creativity, your romance, your pleasure, and your children. And Jupiter kind of deals with your tolerance, your generosity, your traditions you make for yourself, religion, kind of like that kind of, it's not as strict as Saturn, but it's like you have Saturn, which is like that strict, like, yeah, get this shit done. And then you have Jupiter like, well, you should probably do this. That's Jupiter. And so with Jupiter in that Capricorn energy, which is Saturn's energy that says, yeah, get that shit done, that's pretty interesting. You'll be seeing like restrictions and more tolerance to certain things that you've been restricted on, that you have been no tolerance, like this is against my inner law. You'll see like a bit loosen up in that area, especially with Jupiter in retrograde. Some things will be unraveling in your energy. And then it goes into the 6th house on December 8th. So right before Jupiter goes into Aquarius, actually, because Jupiter was in retrograde so long, it might be going backwards. But right before Jupiter exits out of the Capricorn zodiac, it will be in the 6th house for a short period of time. And the 6th house deals with health, wellness, and daily routines. So, which is funny, not funny, but like ironic, because we know that during New Year's is usually New Year, New Me. So, during that time, people will start becoming a little bit more health conscious. That mindset will seep back into people. And different changes will be made with their daily routine as far as what that Jupiter energy goes. So that's what's happening with Jupiter. And I just gave y'all the whole spiel about what's happening with Jupiter all the way up to December. So, like, y'all know what's going on. And then now we're dealing with Saturn. Saturn is the planet of restrictions, challenges, boundaries that you put up, things like that. Right now, Saturn is in Aquarius in the 6th house. And we had already said that the 6th house deals with health and wellness and daily routines. And Aquarius is like that individualistic energy that can't pin down that original, unique, rebellious, detached energy. So with Saturn, such a restrictive planet, being in that Aquarius energy, there is some type of rebellious energy going on with the restrictions and the boundaries and the things like that that are being set. And we see that. We have people protesting everywhere for everything. Nobody is saying yes to any type of anything that's being put out. And I get it. And this has been going on since May 11th, and it will be going on until July 2nd. And then there will be a retrograde. Saturn will be going in retrograde. Well, Saturn still is in retrograde, but it will be going into Capricorn. So we'll be moving from Aquarius back into the Capricorn energy, but we'll still be in the 6th house. So, and I'll be going on from July 2nd to August 6th. So with that going on, it's like you're going from this rebellious energy, and then it might be an energy that might like push you back into like changing your schedules again, but in a strict energy because you have Saturn and Capricorn back together. I would like to see where this goes. I feel like it's pretty much like a tug of war going on right now with Saturn being in retrograde, because it keeps bouncing back and forth between Aquarius and Capricorn. So when you have Saturn and Aquarius energy, that's when you have people fighting back and whatever, saying, nah, we're not going to do this. But then when you have Saturn going into Capricorn, you have more laws and more restrictions being implemented and in place. Now that can go one or two ways. That could be you creating new restrictions and laws for yourself You taking that power, or you allowing that power to be imposed upon you? Now, that's up to you. That's up to you and how you view your reality. Some people view their reality as people always telling them what to do, whereas some people view their reality as nobody tells me what to do. I do what I want to do. So, yeah, that for that. So then Saturn goes into the fifth house of Capricorn August 6th, and that goes on until September 28th. So Saturn will be in retrograde in the fifth house in Capricorn from August 6th to September 28th, and then it goes back forward. So then once it goes back forward from that, then eventually we'll be going back into that Aquarius energy. You get what I'm saying? So there's going to be a period of time like this looks like that back to school period. That's what this looks like. The back to school period from the 6th to the 28th. You're going to start dealing with some laws and things being put into place. We're going to deal with it for a little bit, but it looks like from when October starts, maybe mid-October, and then, you know, you got election season coming and stuff like that, you'll start seeing Saturn move back into Aquarius. So we're going to get right back into that rebellious energy. And hopefully we don't go in retrograde so we can stay there. But yeah, so that's what I got. That's what's happening with Saturn. And that fifth house energy is associated with creativity, romance, pleasure, and children. So that's why I definitely say like back to school time from August 6th to September 28th. Yeah, it's gonna be some things going on there. Uranus is in Taurus, and this is in the ninth house. Uranus is the planet of rebellion, changing, going against the grain, things like that. And Taurus is like the stubborn energy, fixed, determined, kind of like my way, highway type thing. So you have like this rebellious energy inside of this, like, no, on. So because of that, you're dealing with the strain that we see with Saturn, and the strain that we see with Jupiter and things like that, of this like rebellious energy fighting against this restrictive energy, like laws, no. So it's just like, who's going to win here? So you're dealing with that, and that's going towards the ninth house, and the ninth house rules over travel, philosophy, and higher education. And when planets transit through this house, it helps us begin studying a new topic or a foreign location or a different perspective. So we're going into molding our perspectives. We're learning about other people's things, that Sagittarius energy. And this is going on until April 26, 2026. So this war with law and authority and things being a certain kind of way, and what is Taurus associated with? Beauty, concepts of material wealth, physical things, those pinnacles that earth signs are associated with. Yeah, they're all going to change. Everything's in that realm is changing, and that thing is happening until April 2026. Now our retrograde is about to occur with Uranus. And when does that retrograde occur? I'm glad you asked. August 16th, and it's going on until January 14th, 2021. So from August 16th until January 14th, 2021, Uranus will be in retrograde. So we'll have this rebellious planet, this planet that deals with individuality, being unique, going against the grain. That'll be in retrograde. And it will be in retrograde in the stubborn energy. So we'll see what that creates. It just like further fuels like the tug of war between authority and gaining one's freedom. Now for everyone's specific individual life, it's going to mean to you what it means to you. On a country level, when we pick up our phones and we turn on the TV, it'll mean something else, or maybe it'll mean the same thing. I don't know. So Neptune is in Pisces in the 8th house, and we know the 8th house deals with transformation, rebirth, that Scorpio energy. And Pisces is like that expansive energy, that creativity, imaginative type energy, and also that duality type energy of the physical and the spiritual realm when things are balanced. And then Neptune is dealing with the realm beyond the five senses. So you have this super expansive energy that is being implemented into this rebirth and transformation house of Scorpio. And that's awesome, because that's what we're going through, right? You see all these people walking into their spirituality, and you're going to see it a lot more, especially in this Leo season, as everybody starts to embrace like their extrovertedness and their confidence and their leadership skills. Like, you're definitely going to see a lot more spiritualists come out, a lot of more tarot readers, a lot more crystal creators, a lot more spiritual teachers and advisors, and groups of people growing together in spirituality, because that's what the energy is bringing about. And honestly, it's beautiful to see. It doesn't feel like a trend to me. To some people it does, that's their reality, but the people that I connect with, they always seem like genuinely interested and genuinely growing, and I appreciate that. So like, you know, you're gonna see a lot more of that. And it's in this energy from February. It's been in this energy, which is why you have been seeing it since February 4th, 2012. And Neptune will remain in this energy until January 26th, 2026. So these transformations that we're seeing between Uranus with that authoritative versus freedom conflict, and this Neptune, which is this expansive energy and getting in tune with ourselves spiritually, all that's going on until 2026. So it's happening, y'all. Neptune goes into retrograde, has been in retrograde since June 22nd, and it will remain in retrograde until November 29th, 2020. And with it in retrograde, that kind of just like, I always think of retrogrades as unraveling. You ravel, create all these things, build. Now, when when any planet retrogrades, you're unraveling some things. There's some things in that expansive energy that should be coming undone. And a lot of like, and we see that because a lot of different spirituality practices are coming to light. They're kind of sick. A lot of I can't talk right now. A lot of spirituality practices are being debunked, you know, as new practices come into light. A lot of different things are happening to us as we embrace what it is that's happening around us. A lot of different beliefs are coming out. As far as what to claim oneself, how to view land and resources around us and things like that. So it makes sense. And then Neptune enters the 7th house while it's, still in Pisces on October 2nd, 2020. And the 7th house is the descendant house. This house is associated with how one deals with their one-on-one relationships, their importance, the perspective. How planets transiting through this house help us close deals, secure bonds by signing contracts, and making things official. So going through all of this, and then in October we'll start sealing some deals with things as voting season comes into play and stuff like that. Okay, so moving on into Pluto. Pluto is in Capricorn energy. Okay, I'm making good timing. It's almost time for me to be out. Yeah, Pluto is in Capricorn energy, and this is also in the 5th house, and Pluto is currently in retrograde. Pluto has been in Capricorn energy since January 26, 2008, and will remain there until January 20th, 2024. It's going to be in the 5th house in retrograde until October 4th. So we have Capricorn, which is the planet of restrictions, restraints, boundaries, and challenges. We have this planet which is associated with rebirth, death, transformation, secrets, power, the unknown, things like that. It's also in retrograde, which means it's unraveling. And it's doing this in the 5th house, which deals with creativity, romance, pleasure, and children. So for those of you that communicate certain news articles that are seen as conspiracy theories, just to let you know, like, the way the planets are placed, it's in your favor of what it is that you're trying to convey in your posts and the articles you share and the videos you share and things like that, if you get what I'm saying. That's all I have to say about that. A lot of things in power, a lot of secrets, they're unraveling. And this is in that Capricorn energy. Moving on. So, getting into the nodes. The nodes are like the directions, the path of the moon. The node is basically like what you need to develop on your path of your journey to success. And you have your own personal node as far as your birth chart goes. Now, this node is for where we are as I guess as a whole space, because I'm covering the overall zodiac. Now, people born during this time, this is what their true node would be as individuals. Their generation coming, this will be their true node. Now, as far as my generation that has the true nodes that we have our own, things we must overcome as a unit. I would love to meet the people that are part of my true nodes so that we can do things. I actually wrote about that in a book. But anyway, moving on. So, true notes is in Gemini in 11th house in retrograde. So again, Gemini is about having multiple things, multiple ports of education, income, wealth, health, blah blah blah, friendships, partnerships, whatever. So 11th house is dealing with that energy of humanitarianism, giving, your space in society, and things like that. It deals with broadening your reach to other people, right? Yeah. So that's what's happening during this time. We were on the path of learning to help others in society and unraveling the different ways that we thought were helpful but are no longer helpful or have not been helpful from the rip. We just thought it was. And we're creating new ways, developing new characteristic traits as individuals, as families, as tribes, as communities, as governments, as etc., to get things done. And that's going on from July 4th to November 3rd. The node enters into the 10th house on September 14th. And the 10th house is associated, that's your midheaven house, that's how you reach success. That's your public image, your aspirations and achievements. So again, coming back into that energy of having multiple things going on at once is how you'll reach success. You have to broaden your horizons. Our ascendant is in Virgo in first house. Woo woo. So that analytical, overthinking mind is coming out, which I see in a lot of you guys' theories and interpretations and critical thinking of what's going on in the world. That's going to keep going because that's where we're at right now in our ascending energy. It enters the second house on August 9th, which is dealing with personal finances, material possessions, and concepts of value. So you'll start analyzing and thinking and organizing that to an extent. The ascendant is in retrograde, so it's unraveling things as you get ready to go forward and unravel. It goes into Libra, the second house, from August 22nd to September 12th. And so we know Libra is all about fairness and balancing the scale. So after you get done building and thinking and analyzing and order and methods and blah, 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 then you start, pleasing, people pleasing, creating some type of balance and loving and giving to others. The midheaven, which is the space of success, is in Gemini, which is further implementing that energy of having multiple sources of income, education, and things to reach success, which is in the midheaven house. And that's going on from July 7th to August 2nd. And then it goes into the 11th house, dealing with your humanitarian and workmanship spirit, from August 3rd to August 8th. And then it goes into Cancer in the 11th house. So now we're going inward, whereas before we were just like slurping everything up. Now we're going inward, gaining insight, bringing things to our home and our family, and our coming closer to feminine energies in our space, from August 9th to September 7th. And then we in Cancer on the 12th house from September 8th to September 9th. And the 12th house deals with your darkness before dawn, all the things that exist without physical form, dreams, secrets, and emotions. Planets transiting through this house attract karmic relationships and are reminded that not all relationships are meant to last. So you might be dealing with some things at the beginning of September. And then we go into Leo in the 12th house from September 10th to October 10th. So with that Leo in the 12th house, now you got this fire energy, these leadership, courage type thing going on, and you're applying it to your dreams and things like that. So a lot of you guys from August to September is going to be another transformation going. And as far as the way the planets is reading to me, it's going to go towards our children. It's going to go towards the schools And it's not even like it's stuff that we don't already know. Like, I know I'm saying this and y'all like, bro, read the news. Yeah, read the news. And guess what? When you read the planets, it say the same shit. Isn't that crazy? So, so yeah, that's essentially what's happening, and that's pretty cool. So, that's what I have as far as the planets go. There will be a 100% full moon on August 3rd, and that moon is in Capricorn. So during that full moon, the full moon is all about celebration. This is where you feel a whole bunch of energy. You want to finalize your projects, go over them a final time, look at different ways to spend your energy. You might be like a really big challenge, especially the full moon can be a moon of challenge, and Capricorn energy is the energy of challenge. So you want to be mindful. Also, time to cleanse your crystals and recharge them, and perform any type of protection rituals during this time. The full moon, 99% full moon will be in Aquarius. So you'll still have that same moon energy. But see how you see that tug of war between Capricorn and Aquarius? Like laws and freedom, restriction and rebellion. So you're going to have like a spin between that going on, whether it's within yourself, with a relationship with someone else. There will be a tug of war between those two nights of the full moon, between restrictions and rebellion. So August 18th, it will be 100% new moon. And the new moon is the moon, it's like the dark moon, the moon of rest and stuff like that. And this is a time of letting go of hurtful past and starting over fresh and going inward and preparing yourself for new projects and things like that. And so this moon will be in Leo. So you'll feel like energy to start new projects, as far as like, probably like an encouragement, I guess. Encouragement, leadership, things like that. And then going into Virgo, so once you like muster up like the courage and stuff like that, now it's time to organize that energy, organize how you're going to do it and things like that. So boom, that's what's happening. That's what I have as far as the planets go. That's what Leo season is about. Thank you guys for sitting and watching and participating, and I hope you appreciated it. If you are interested, I do have Leo-centered stones on letsnobodiescollection.com. The tiger's eye, the carnelians, the citrons, the gold wrapping. I have gold chains. I have some brass up there. I have a lot of different things. I have some garnet up there. I have some rubies up there. I have a plethora of things up there. Obsidian I have up there as well. You can check out letsnobodiescollection.com. Get yourself a piece for Leo season, a piece for whatever the planets are doing and things like that. You can hit me up if you want a free natal tarot reading. If you want a reading connecting your natal planets to the current transit planets, I do that, and I can pull tarot cards for that as well. If you want information on Forex or trading gold, since this is the season of gold, hit me up. I'll hit you up for trading gold. Thank you to all who sent submissions for the documentary. It's going to be a beautiful piece expressing our different definitions of freedom and how we are going about obtaining said freedom. Also have a book coming out. I have a new jewelry line coming out. So yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff happening. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Be sure to go online and buy a t-shirt. The funds for the t-shirt go to the headstones, which is going towards off-grid living, because they're trying to buy nobody's land and build a school. And I have a school curriculum coming out, and I hope you guys enjoy it and are with it. And that's what's happening. So I love y'all.